Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
So, Teresa, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
How's it going?
Well, it's going okay, but this is just such a weird time after everything that's happened. With the terrorist attack at the Capitol, and just the Biden-Harris inauguration on the horizon, just nervousness because, we keep hearing when I saw all of the, military personnel at the Capitol, I felt like we were in good hands. But then now I'm hearing about, of course, that makes states and localities at a bit more vulnerable because, so much manpower is there and of course it's needed, but we wonder if there's a plot then to attack at the state level. And it's just constant. It's a wonder we're all making it because it's just been constant. And I look at the COVID numbers that are still spiking. And I spoke yesterday with a lady I know who, she works with a lady whose husband was 47 and apparently healthy and didn't have any underlying health problems, and he died of COVID, and she was just devastated.
Oh my!
And she talked to me about
sure.
So when you hear that and all of the other stuff, it's just I don't know. It's almost surreal, like we're walking around on eggshells all the time. At least that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, and one thing, to cope, certainly when the siege happened at the Capitol, I was glued to social media and the news, but you got to limit the amount of that bad news that you take in, and that's how I've been managing to get by, I think.
Yeah, you were smart.
Or to deal with it.
Yeah.
I try to limit the amount of it, that I let into my spirit. But I will tell you, when I saw a picture, I didn't hear the story about all of the military and the numbers of military people who've been called to protect the Capitol. But when I saw a picture of them laying on the floor resting, I thought, where are we?
Yeah.
Well, this is the United States.
And,
of America.
Being a former social worker, and I know it's not a popular thing to say, but I mean, the reality is when I've watched some of the videos and heard some of the, comments from some of the protesters, the rioters, the reality is President Trump is not well mentally. And some of these people that were in that Capitol, their families are devastated because they are not well. I mean, they just are not well people. And I know people are going to be saying, no, there's a different standard. But when you listen to them, it's just like people make judgments about people who are homeless, not realizing that some of the people who are out there are not making a conscious decision to be homeless. They are not well mentally. That's why they're out there. And some of the devastation that's occurred, and I know people may not want to hear, but families have been devastated because some of those people are not well. And President Trump is not well and for inciting them. So I know.
Well, I'm going, Lou, I think President Trump is well.
I
I
don't.
think he knows exactly I think he is crazy like a fox. I
Mm,
think he's getting other people to do his bidding, and then he says, "Oh no, that's not what I was saying," or "I didn't tell them to do that." But his wording is just so that it's just enough to incite.
well, I'm gonna
And
tell
his
you.
hand gestures, and
Yeah.
he has been calling on this. He's been calling for this
Well,
for
and I
a
know,
long time.
but
And I
I just
believe he's crazy like a fox. I think that's what
Well,
I
and you
believe.
may be right. Like I said, maybe it's the social worker in me, but I saw a story about that Olympic swimmer. I can't even remember his name that was there, and he wore the easily identifiable from his attire. Because of course the average person or no one, that's a very rare group, would have such a jacket. But his family said he's just been struggling for years and has had so many things happen to him since the Olympics. That doesn't excuse it, but now he has been charged. People's lives are forever ruined. And I know people say rightly so, but I'm not talking about the ones that were intelligent enough but are just filled with hate, because I believe those were the majority. People who are still holding on to power, and they do that no matter what, no matter who they hurt. That's where they come from. That's who they are at their core. I'm not talking about them. I believe there were some followers in there who heard the rhetoric that aren't well, and they got caught up in it. And I mean, that's just where I am. But even with that, the thing that has bothered me the most, when I say I'm walking around and I just not, it's like I'm on unstable ground, it's because of this one thing that has just messed me up this week. I just cannot. This thing has bothered me so much, and it's the one where the guy that was in the Capitol, that was in some kind of outfitted like an animal or something, with the bearskin cloth on, but he his parents say he cannot eat anything but organic food. And you and I did a segment on food deserts, and we talked about how we don't even have access to food in many of our neighborhoods, and how that's always a struggle to get fresh food. But here, he won't eat anything but organic food. His mother is on camera saying he hasn't eaten in days because he won't eat. No, he gets really sick. They have made accommodations for this man to get organic food while he's incarcerated. I just keep
Girl,
thinking about the people
you
that
better
I
stop.
know. Yeah, the people that I know that have been wrongly imprisoned, even family and family members and people that I love who've gotten caught up in different things. And we know the injustices that are prevalent in the correctional system, but and how they have suffered before being released. And we're going to do, we're going to do an episode soon on the discrimination that felons face when they re-enter society. The fact that they can't get jobs, can't find employment, and they're constantly struggling as a result of a conviction and time served, and they're coming out of prison with hope and planning to do better and reclaim their lives, but they can make accommodations for him to get organic food in prison. I'm stunned by that. When that's just shaking me. It's not that I want anything bad for him, but I'm just thinking about here. That's not a slap in the face. That's a freaking gut punch there. That's like somebody has taken their boot and kicked me in the stomach, because I can't even understand that level of inequality that you think that
I,
he has to have that. I got a problem with it. I'm telling you.
I'll take it a step further. I, I can't believe he's alive to talk about it. The fact that he needs organic food, because if he were a black man, he'd be dead. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
If he
Show
were
you
black,
right.
if they were black people, if they were black people in general, that we
Yeah.
wouldn't be having
Yeah.
this conversation as well.
Well,
Like they
well,
would
but
have stormed. I mean,
yeah.
the National Guard would have killed them all.
Well, of
I mean, they
course,
would have
they
even
would
blown
still,
up the building.
yeah, they would still be
The
cleaning up
building
the
would have
blood.
sustained
Yeah. Oh,
damage because of
absolutely, absolutely.
exactly.
But
So
Teresa, but
yeah, I'm not. That doesn't surprise me. That
but
doesn't
Teresa,
surprise me. The
you know,
fact that he wants organic food, and I want to go back to one thing though, Lou. You said these people aren't well, and again, I'm gonna say crazy like Fox
mm,
because or whatever the plural of that is, but these people, many of them had full facial hair. And now when you see them and they're
oh
arrested, their faces
yeah,
are
yeah.
shaven. They
Well,
knew
the
there were going to
lawyer
be
could have
some
told
kind
him
of
to do
facial
that.
recognition
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Well, but still, I mean, they don't in their everyday lives are they walking around looking like that?
No,
No,
but
these were
Teresa,
bank managers and
yeah,
attorneys. These were police officers. These were
yeah,
people. No,
yeah,
I don't buy it.
yeah.
I don't think these I don't want them I don't even want that put in the atmosphere so that they can hide behind the fact that they're mentally ill is why they did that. They need to
I,
pay for what they
well,
did.
well,
Because if
and
they
you,
were black or any brown, if they were black or brown, people of color, they would suffer. They would
yeah.
not shouldn't say suffer, they would pay. They would
Well,
pay. So no, I don't
the
I have
people, for
no.
example, the CEO and people who've been conducting themselves in a rational manner and living their lives. I'm not talking about them. No, they're not crazy. No, they're not mentally unstable. They knew full well what they were doing. They drank the Kool-Aid. They believe it. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people who, if you look at the evidence of their lives, that there is something wrong with them mentally. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know it's not popular, but that's just the reality. And I believe there were a lot of unstable people. But anyway, you and I did a podcast in where we talked about beware of pneumonia. And we talked about how we asked listeners to be on guard for their lives and the lives of their family members because with COVID, we were at risk. We, of course, our numbers, we're dying more than anyone else. And so I think why I say that I felt like somebody picked up their boot and kicked me in the stomach with this guy talking about organic food is because when we're trying to survive, we don't have the luxury of thinking about little stuff like that. It's always we just like when we said beware of pneumonia because things hit us so much harder. We would have still been trying to locate loved ones who were killed in that siege or trying to even come together and put our monies together to get representation to fight for people to get out of jail. But this man and his family, they have the luxury that what they are concerned with, I'm sure he has legal representation. That's not an issue. He apparently is at the level where his family's priority is that he get organic food. Wow. Yeah.
Well, I
That's
didn't
sort of
read the
stunning.
story.
Yeah.
I didn't read a story, but there was a pop-up on my phone about a breaking story, and it is that the gentleman who we've seen with his feet propped up on Nancy
Mm,
Pelosi's desk was released.
yeah. Wow.
He was released.
Hmm.
He's
Hmm.
at home.
Hmm.
He's at home. He broke into her office. He vandalized her office. He put his feet, they stole documents. They took computers, and
Hmm.
he has been
Well,
released and is at home
and you talking about that just popped up.
until his trial.
That just popped up on your feed, but I already know, and I haven't done the research, but I know I'm pretty right, probably right in this. I haven't researched that gentleman's family, but I know there's somebody with some power in his circle that can put pressure on the judicial system, so much so that he gets organic food when other prisoners, they don't have that luxury. Wow. So it's when you look at that and you look at everything that's been happening, it's just like what I kept seeing on social media. Understand, I'm not bothered that this man is getting his dietary needs met, but it's that you don't care about meeting anyone else's needs. Not only food, I'm talking about there have been people who've been diabetic and not been able to get their insulin. There are people who've been
Oh
hypertensive
my
and not been
goodness.
able to get medical care in prison. So the whole thing is just like I've seen, we're not saying we want you to shoot them, but we want you not to shoot us just like you don't shoot them. So just like you're caring enough to attend to his needs, recognize that there is an equality in that, and it makes people furious. So when people walk around angry, when people appear that they have a short fuse, this is why, because you constantly getting disrespected every day as you try to live your lives. So that's how
Yeah.
my week is going, Teresa. That's the week.
That's a
But
mouthful.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I still,
Yeah.
though, I have hope. I'm encouraged, praying nothing happens with the inauguration, that all goes well with the smooth transition, and that better days are ahead. That's where I am.
Here's what I'm okay with, and I understand the whole ceremony behind the inauguration and the norms that are associated with that, having the swearing in be on the Capitol steps. I get all of that, but in light of all of the threats
Mhm.
on the lives of the people who are going to be attending, why not just change that norm for
I
this
know,
instance,
I
and don't
know, I
consider
know,
it
I know,
cowering. Don't
I know.
consider it. Don't consider it being you looking at it as being scared. Don't
Uh,
look at it like that.
Yeah,
Just be
yeah,
smart.
that's
Take it
right.
indoors.
Yeah,
It's COVID anyway, and
right,
just do a television broadcast
right.
so that the rest of us can
Yeah,
see it.
I
I
agree with
really
you.
wish they would take that
I don't get
into
that.
consideration,
I know it's a
because
huge moment for the Biden Harris team, and their life work has been dedicated to public service. But I agree with you. It's really, it's just, you need to rethink that. I agree with you. The safety of everyone is more important. And the fact that we need this team to be in place and to be whole for us to go about the work. So I hear you on that. We forge ahead. So that's it for us here today at Earrings Off. That's where we are. But we remain hopeful as always, because we firmly believe here at Earrings Off.
when we know better, we do better.
Take good care.